This is wonderful. I should do this every time I give a lecture at MIT. I should have a group introduce me with a song. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Actually, I want you to do a little thought experiment. Imagine you're in 1991, okay? And using a Star Trek wormhole, you can see into the future. You can see into 2017. And you see two teenagers talking to each other. And one of them says to the other, I am going to WhatsApp my location to you. Okay? And you go, what does that mean? Okay? Fortunately, there's a very smart person on the other side, and they say, I'll explain it to you. I'll explain what that means. Here's what they need to explain to you. They need to explain this thing called the internet. In 1990, you may have heard the dial-up modem, dial-up. They have to say the internet is now everywhere. They have to explain to you about wireless. They have to explain to you that the suitcase with the telephone in 1990 would one day become this. They would explain to you that the screen is this big, that a lead-acid battery can be compressed to a lithium-ion battery and fit inside the screen, behind the screen. They have to explain to you that every one of these guys is connected to the internet wirelessly. They would have to explain to you that that gigantic thing that you see on a boat for location called GPS can be miniaturized and will fit inside this. They have to explain to you that the world's maps are inside this. They have to explain to you something called social networking, something called WhatsApp, which was acquired by a company called Facebook for $19 billion. I'll tell you about Facebook afterwards. And that every teenager has one of these things. Okay? This is the new language that we are so used to. I'll WhatsApp my location to you. 17 years. Imagine the sweep of technology that fit into a few nouns and verbs. 17 years, so much has changed. The Internet of Things is similar. It's a new design language. It is going to help us say things, invent verbs, invent nouns that did not exist 2 years ago. For example, connectivity. Obviously, we all know connectivity. Here's another one, composability. The idea is that you can take in this thing GPS and combine it with a WhatsApp and create a new functionality. Or you can take the compass and combine it with WhatsApp, with GPS and create a new functionality. You can sort of mix and match. So connectivity, composability. The third, very important, is immersion. You will get immersed in this new world, right? And finally, recruitability, which is this guy can recruit the functionality of a Bluetooth beacon and tell you where you are. And they can join hands and create new functionality. This device and another device and another device can join hands and create a new functionality. These are the new nouns and verbs of the 21st century. And the Internet of Things is just an invention of a whole new language. But what use is a language if you don't write a beautiful story with it? So for a moment, let's forget about Internet of Things. Let's talk about something completely different. It is my view that the Internet of Things is not about technology. It is about inventing new business narratives. In fact, I have a book about it. If I could ask my colleagues to put up the slide about this book. The Internet of Things is about inventing The next slide, please, the one with my book, which I want to advertise to this crowd. So, the Internet of Things is using this language to talk about new businesses. Let's use Amazon. Werner gave a very nice talk about Amazon. When Amazon was founded, it was about selling books. You sold books. But actually, Amazon has completely changed its business now. They're not about books anymore. They own your reading experience. Right? First they sold books, then they came out with Kindle. The traditional company is based on products. So the Kindle, if you're a traditional company, is a product. Books, Kindle. But the moment the iPad, the iPhone, the Android phone came out, they released apps. Why? Because they don't care about the product. They care about your experience. They don't want to own books. They want to own reading. This is what we call inversion. It used to be that companies were all about products, and the customer would have to bend over backwards to use the product. But what has happened is the opposite. The company tries to give the customer an experience and wraps itself flexibly around the customer. And if you look around you, this is happening everywhere. Take, for example, Uber. What does Uber do? Uber is founded when the founders of Uber said, I wish I could do this, and a car showed up. Uber is not a car company. Uber is a transportation company. They solve the problem of transportation. Ford is a car company. Uber solves a transportation problem. Ford now has realized this, and recently they acquired a company called Chariot because they need to get into a new business, which is not the product, but solving the problem and the experience. And that's what we call inversion. Companies have to invert themselves from product companies to owning the experience. I will make the argument that Uber is actually an Internet of Things company. Why? All they did was they took a dumb car, they took a smartphone, they put it in the car, and the car became a smart car. It has GPS, it has connectivity, you have GPS, it connects you, problem solved. Uber is an inverted company. Volkswagen is a traditional product company. Ford is trying to invert itself by getting into the service business. Here's another example. Airbnb. To me, Airbnb is an inverted company. So where does the Internet of Things come into Airbnb? The language of the Internet of Things is a natural way for companies like Airbnb to adopt this technology. It's a natural way to rethink the way you do business. When Airbnb was founded, if you got an Airbnb room, you went and met the owner and she gave you the key. Not anymore, because naturally they use internet-controlled locks. Because it's easier to email a key than to meet the person and give them the key. So forget about IoT. Forget it. Think about inverted business models. I guarantee you, you will need the new language of IoT, which is connectedness, composing new functionality, recruiting other functionality, and immersion to create a magical experience. Here's another example. We talked about Uber. We talked about Airbnb. Think about a Spanish company, eCultra. You know the scooter company? How many of you have used eCultra? Can I see a show of hands? How many of you know about eCultra? Well, everyone knows about it. Good, thank heavens. So, eCultra is an IoT company. We think of it as a scooter rental company, but actually it's an IoT company, right? Vespa is threatened by eCultra. Because eQultra is solving a problem by being inverted. Vespa is a product company. eQultra is an inverted company. Forget IoT, it'll get pulled right in. Because to book, to pick up, to drop off, they need IoT, right? So the way to think about the Internet of Things is not as a technology. Forget the technology. Even the way to think about machine learning is not as a technology. The way to think about robotics is not as a technology. These are new capabilities to invent inverted businesses which care and adapt to the needs of the customer. Your coffee machine should not be a coffee machine. The maker of coffee machines should try and figure out how to own your breakfast experience, your morning experience. So when I go to my coffee machine, I'm stuck there for my Nespresso machine. I'm stuck there for 3 minutes. You know, it heats up, it makes my Nespresso. I would love for it to just flash my schedule. I would love for it maybe to play the news. Speakers are very cheap, okay? It doesn't have to be even internet connected. It can just recruit my iPhone and just play my news to me. It needs to make my morning experience better. A mattress company is not a mattress company. The inversion is, it's a sleep company. You got to figure out how to make sleep more enjoyable. There are already a bunch of companies in the United States that are thinking this way, with names like Sleep Number. They change the flexibility of the mattress, and they do other things. Already, using a wearable, you can see how well you slept. Did you get REM, rapid eye movement in your sleep? Were you sleeping fitfully? Was it too hard? Maybe it should become soft. So this is the way to think of these technologies, is to change the experience. With that in mind, now I want to spend a few minutes. I have to say this because we had Amazon here. The Alexa, right? Echo. How many of you, is it popular in Spain? How many of you use the Echo? I recommend, if you can get your hands on it, buy it. Pay me afterwards, okay? Buy it. I own 4. In my lab at MIT, we are hacking Echoes. I have a Google Home talking to an Echo. I have taken the Echo, the Alexa, and I've put it on a Raspberry Pi. Just as a joke, I had them talk to each other circularly. Hi Echo, hey Google, hey, they go in circles. It is a stunning new invention because what the Echo has done is it owns your kitchen experience. Okay? What is going to happen in my view, what Amazon is on is a fantastic journey. It's an IoT journey, but remember, forget IoT. It's the experience. Amazon owns the kitchen experience in my family. In fact, the next step for them is to go to a new world that I refer to as when things buy things. TBT. You don't buy things. The coffee machine orders the Nespresso. Okay? It's like your app store. No one replenishes the apps. They update on their own. Your dishwasher is going to order the replacement pods automatically. So what Amazon did with the Echo is they own your kitchen experience. It's a fascinating thing. They're not trying to sell you books. They're not trying to sell you products. You can get the news. You can get the weather. They just own the experience. And everything else will follow. Oh, you can turn the lights on. You can unlock your door. You can order an Uber. That's the way to think about IoT. Never say IoT. Figure out what the hell we're trying to do in business. The IoT and other technologies will follow. So now I want to just spend 5 minutes talking about some challenges. I have found a lot of Internet of Things implementations are short-sighted, are brittle, unthought out, unsecured, and dangerous. Let me explain. Let us say that this beautiful conference room, we decide to implement IoT. Let's say that we say when the door is turned on, the lights should come on. Okay, easy. So you call your favorite vendor. Vendor comes along. The vendor's favorite protocol is Wi-Fi. So they connect the door sensor by Wi-Fi to the lights switch. Beautiful, you're happy. The door comes on, lights come on. Okay. Then you decide that when the number of people in this room exceeds 200, I want the AC, the air conditioner, to go to boost mode. So you call your HVAC vendor. They come along. They have infrared cameras. They can count the number of people. They make sure the lights are on, so they talk Wi-Fi to the lights, but they like Bluetooth. So they have a Bluetooth connection to the HVAC system. Okay. Then you decide that when the stage is occupied, these lights need to come on. So you call another vendor. So third vendor comes along, uses Zigbee. This is the world we're in right now. Now you might say, well, they should not be Bluetooth and Zigbee and Wi-Fi. We should have one standard. Forget it. It's too late. There are going to be many standards. In fact, it's a good thing, because each standard has a different bandwidth, different latency, different range, different power consumption. We're going to have multiple standards. So what do? You end up with this crazy implementation where now if the light breaks, the electrician changes the light bulb, he doesn't know, should I use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi? Everything is broken down. So right now, most of our implementations are extremely brittle and not scalable. The answer to the question, in my view, is avatars, the cloud. Amazon can pay me later. Okay, here's why. The best way to connect that light bulb to that door is not directly. The best way to do it is to have the door mirrored in the cloud with a door avatar. The light mirrored in the cloud with a light avatar. And it does not matter whether the door uses Wi-Fi to get to the cloud or whether the light uses Zigbee or Bluetooth. It does not matter. What happens now is when the door opens, the cloud door opens. The cloud door tells the cloud light, come on. Cloud light tells this light, come on. My view is the future of the Internet of Things is through the cloud. Of course, if you need things to be real time, you may not be able to do that. But most things are not real time. Most things can wait a half second. But if you do things in the cloud, you can maintain easily, you can upgrade easily, you can implement easily, and it's an easy design metaphor for you to think about how to implement something. If you take that approach, you can do what I'm saying to you. Forget about the technology. Forget it. Magic is happening today in technology. What we can do in machine learning, the Internet of Things, robotics, all these things is magical. But if you apply the discipline that I just explained, you don't have to worry about it too much. What you should worry about is, what the hell are you trying to do with the technology? Internet of Things is not something you can buy. It's not a product. There is no IoT store. You can't pay for it. Internet of Things strategy, also, you can't buy it. It's a very fundamental inversion of the way you run your business. And it's an inversion that customers seek, and companies like Amazon and Tesla and Google and eCooltra are delivering as an experience. And that's where your customers are going. So my request to you, my appeal to you, my encouragement to you is, let's all have guts, as Maria said, the gumption, and think into the future of where our business wants to be, and use the technology to get there. Thank you very much. A really great pleasure to be here. Thank you.